Your sun in the third house of communication means that it would be natural for you to write, to speak.
What I discovered was that I did have a creative superpower, so to speak, and that was writing. Writing was my gift.
What if your destiny was written in the stars? Let's examine the lives of business leaders through their astrological charts. The journey begins now. Every single person on Earth was born on a certain day, at an exact time, and in a specific place. Using this information, we can create a map of the sky showing the planetary positions at the time of birth. This map, also known as a birth chart, shows information about the person and their life themes and cycles. Astrology has been used as a tool for guidance since ancient times, with civilizations looking to the stars for answers as far back as 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Today, Alice uses this ancient wisdom to provide insights and clarity. Many people doubt that astrology is real and readily dismiss it as a hoax. Can astrology really tell us things about ourselves and our life events? Is there some truth to the planets having an influence on our lives? Our episode today will invite you into a private session, allowing you unprecedented access to view the process by which a chart is delineated. You can decide for yourself if astrology is real or if it is a hoax. Today's guest is Baron Oda.
I like to consider myself sort of a legal alchemist. And what I mean by that is that I help people manifest their creative visions and bring it out into this world. So let's say someone has an idea for a book, for example. I would help them along with that process until the book gets published. My name is Baron Oda, and I'm the principal of Invenio Legal Studio. My practice areas involve arts law, intellectual property, cultural property, and my clients are creatives of all different types of disciplines. I serve visual artists, I serve book authors, aspiring musicians, documentary filmmakers. I also serve cultural institutions such as museums and cultural organizations. And the one common thread that runs through my clientele, besides creativity, is that they are all seeking to bring things into this world that enrich other people's lives. The name for Invenio Legal Studio came about because I was looking for something that would set me apart from typical law firms. Invenio is Latin, and it means to find out or to discover.
According to his time, location, and day of birth, his sun is in Scorpio, his moon is in Aries, and he has a Virgo rising. Scorpios are known for their depth, determination, and resourcefulness, with an intuitive ability to read between the lines. When out of alignment, they can become secretive, intense, or overly controlling. Aries moon individuals are direct, determined, and energetic. However, when off balance, they tend to be restless, impatient, and reactive. Virgo rising brings humility, organization, and an analytical nature to the personality, but they can also be overly critical, perfectionistic, and hesitant to delegate. Alice will spend time with Baron and share what she sees in his chart. Let's see if Baron relates to Alice's depiction of his personality.
So Baron, I'm so happy that you're here to get your reading done by me. I'm curious, is this something that you're open to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't know a whole lot about astrology, but I do believe in things such as synchronicity, and I do believe that there's that there are forces greater than us, that influence our daily lives.
Well, I hope that I will be able to show you today a little bit of a picture of how it all comes together tangibly. Mm-hmm. So what I've prepared for us today is your birth chart. and that is determined from your time of birth, your day of birth, and the longitude and latitude of where you were born. And with this picture of the sky, I'll be able to get a little insight into your personality, a little bit into some past years that may have incited change in your life. But we'll spend time talking about where you're at now and what's coming up for you. And I'm really excited to share that with you.
I'm very curious to see what your chart says.
So the first thing I noticed about you is you probably know you're a Scorpio.
Yes.
So you are not just any old Scorpio. You are a 29-degree Scorpio. It's a degree that's considered very powerful, and there's actually a word for it. It's called the anorectic degree. And when someone has a 29 degree of anything in their chart, it means that they carry the energy as full as possible. So let me explain what that means. The Scorpio energy is one of change and transformation. People that carry a strong Scorpio energy will go through literally physical transformations, from heavy to thin, long hair to short hair, even in their professions, shedding one avenue and getting into something else. So there's a lot of what I call a before and after energy in your chart. Can you speak to that? Do you see any of this showing up in your life?
I do like to switch it up every now and again. I've probably held, well, let's see, like in school, I probably switched majors like 3-4 times until I finally settled on law.
It really shows, because you're not just a 29-degree Scorpio. If you look at your chart here, your moon is in this 8th house. And the 8th house is the house of Scorpio. So when I saw such a strong Scorpio energy, I knew that you're either all in or all out. One of the things that I'm guessing you might love to do is help people through the before and the after. They come to you with a problem and you're like, okay, this is where you were before, and I want to get you to the after. So there's this whole sort of renewal aspect of your chart that you embody yourself, as you just said, but also helping other people. So what I do know is when someone holds such a strong Scorpio energy like you, there is, whether you're transforming yourself or you're helping others go through transformations. I'm going to speak to a little bit more here. Your moon is in the sign of Aries. Sun is in that 29 degree of Scorpio. Moon is in the sign of Aries. Now, Aries is the energy of, I'll use the word impatience, being a pioneer, being bold, going where no man has gone before. So when I see your moon in Aries in the 8th house, I'm thinking to myself, wow, this is a person who just wants to do something and goes all in. Where do you see this in yourself?
It does resonate with me. I do like helping people. In fact, I think that that's the best part of what I get to do for a living, is help people.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious, can you explain what moon energy is?
Yeah. So the moon is our intuitive nature, how we feel. So I want you to think about if the sun is how, like when we see the sun, it shines bright. So your Scorpio is how you shine. Your sun is in Scorpio, so you shine with the theme of transformation and change, and actually breaking rules. I know you're a lawyer, but breaking the law, but breaking other rules, like recreating rules is part of it. And the moon is that emotional part of you, that intuitive part of you, that part what you would call your feeling part. So that when your feeling part of your moon is in Aries, this makes you, I'll use the archetype, a hero. Not that you think of yourself as a hero, but this is the theme of, I want to save the day. If I have something that I know that I can provide, I can bring that to the table and I can save the day. So I see you saving people in some sense.
That really does resonate with me, because as an arts lawyer, I deal a lot with creativity. But growing up, I was painfully aware that I didn't have any creativity of my own. I couldn't draw, I couldn't write. I loved singing, I loved dancing, but I just couldn't hold a tune and I had no rhythm. But later on, what I discovered was that I did have a creative superpower, so to speak, and that was writing. Writing was my gift. And so now I'm really happy that I get to help people with my writing. I get to help other creatives, do the good work that they do through my writing.
Well, did you know The third house is the house of communication, the written word, the spoken word, and your sun is there. Your sun in the third house of communication means that it would be natural for you to write, to speak, and that 29th degree of Scorpio means that you have great influence. That's the ability to influence. It's actually a very magnetic energy. It's a theme of loving to be in control of. So that totally matches. Now, we look at three things in a chart. Where's the sun? Where's the moon? And where is this point when you were born on the eastern horizon? So it's all calculated, but yours is in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is the theme of service, wanting to be of service, helping people. For you, I'm just guessing you could work for like a big law firm and just do like work that makes a lot of money, but that wouldn't really match your chart. Yours is more like, how can I impact? How can I help? How can I serve? Speak to that.
Yeah, fulfillment for me is much more important than financial reward. For me, the greatest fulfillment is helping creatives to really bring the products of their imagination out into the world so that they can share it with others.
You know, that really resonates. I just thought of something as you were talking. Remember earlier I said that Scorpio, and that it's the theme of in or out, and it also is about control. So you're helping people control their privacy, their rights, like whatever you do for them, you're helping them to gain control over whatever it is they've created. Oh yeah. In fact, that's a big part of my practice is safeguarding, people's, creative expressions until they decide when they're ready to share it with the world. See, that is so perfect. One thing also about this Scorpio energy, not just is it in your sun, but your moon is in the 8th house, and that's known as the Scorpio house. So those two alone give you such a strong emphasis. And the archetype for the Scorpio energy is the outlaw, is the rule breaker. So where do you break the rules? And I know that you are an attorney, you follow the rules. When you hear arts and you hear the word lawyer, you don't really think of those two going together. I guess perhaps maybe that's where my dichotomy comes in, is that I kind of blend the two. But in my profession, I adhere to the rules and I follow the rules in order to allow the rule breakers, the creatives, in order to do their good work. So I'm going to step in because in a conversation that we've had previously, actually with one of your clients, what I understand that you don't do is that you don't bill for every single minute if somebody asks you a question. Whereas when I've worked with other attorneys, like I talk to them for 3 minutes, I get a bill for 15 minutes. So you've kind of changed the structure whereby people can approach you? Oh yeah. I mean, in my practice, I want to make sure that my clients feel comfortable, that they can just pick up the phone and that they can just call me with a question and they don't have to worry about how much is this going to cost me. So in my practice, a lot of it is a labor of love. Yeah, when I saw that, I said, I know you're an attorney and I know that you follow the law, but somehow you're doing it in your own way. You're doing it differently because your chart talks about being able to stand apart from the crowd. Like the crowd is doing this, you'll do it as long as it feels good, but you're willing to say, well, no, I'm going to go my way and do it this way. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to bring up, which is kind of interesting. So I'm looking at degrees. Now there's 360 degrees in a circle, and certain planets, when they're in certain degrees, and we call them kind of in alignment. So your chart, your moon is at 11 degrees, your Mars is at 8 degrees, and then you're gonna go all the way down here, and I'm seeing another very similar degree at the bottom. So there's something in your chart that's kind of like, you can kind of see me drawing it here. It looks like a triangle. So this is called a grand trine. You have this chart that when things hit, it hits in a really positive way. So you might notice like, I'm struggling, and then, oh gosh, I don't know what these 3 things are going to do. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 it all sort of happens. So if you haven't seen that pattern, I would encourage you to look for it and notice it because it's very unique to you. Okay. Your chart has a signature of the Sagittarius energy. Now, when we look in your chart, there's not a lot of Sagittarius here, but your signature is Sagittarius. And I find it interesting because the sign of Sagittarius actually, it relates to law. Really? They call it the counselor energy. Oh. So because the Sagittarius energy loves to teach, to share, to inform, and to help people to grow. And because your signature Sagittarius, I find it interesting that you happen to be also an attorney. Everything seems to really line up in your chart.
Wow, that's pretty crazy because I really enjoy teaching. I enjoy sharing my knowledge with others. I was an adjunct professor and I've been a guest lecturer at universities, across the continental U.S., quite a few of them, and I do at least a few presentations annually at various regional associations, for various professions, just speaking about various aspects of the law and the arts. And so, wow, that really resonates.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready for me to go back in your life and just pick up some other years in your life where there might have been change, or do you have additional questions?
No, I don't have any questions, but yeah, let's do it.
The birth chart is basically a picture of the sky at the moment of birth, and as you just saw, can be translated to show the traits and characteristics of an individual. After we are born, though, the planets continue to transit the solar system. As they do, they make contact with various aspects of our birth charts, giving us the ability to track the timing of events in an individual's life. Alice will now go back in time and see if Baron's chart timing correlates with past events in his life. Doing so will help Alice also confirm if his birth time is accurate.
What we can do is go back to the day you're born, which is your birth chart, and ask the computer basically to show us where the planets were along the course of your life. I'm going to look through some of your past years, ask you some questions, and if you don't know the year, you can't remember, no big deal. Take your time. If you remember something, then please share. I'm going to go to 2001. There's this planet Uranus, which is change. And so change, again, foundational change, but you also have Saturn going over the top of your chart, which is stepping up in responsibility. I typically call it a new business card, a new way you show up in the world. Can you talk to me about 2001, even into 2002? It looks like there is some shifts happening.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting that you mentioned stepping up in responsibility because my daughter was born in December of 2000 and I had just turned 23 years old. She was a complete surprise, but she was the absolute best surprise that I've ever gotten in my whole entire life. So all of a sudden, like almost overnight, it became no longer just me living for me, but now I was living for someone else, and I had to provide, and I had to be a good example for this new baby coming into my life. So it was a period of incredible growth, like a lot of personal growth over a very short period of time during that year.
At that time, were you already an attorney? What were you doing for your work then?
I was still in college, and I received my associate's degree. So I graduated in May of 2001 with my associate's degree, and then I moved on to university after that.
Yeah, and it shows right up. May of 2001. You see that right around May, April, May, there's shifts in responsibilities, but this Uranus crossing the force, so everything.
Those kind of things, they don't just happen like on an annual basis. So that's pretty crazy how you were able to see that in my chart.
Which brings me to the next one, 2005. I want to ask you there, partnership changes. It could be business partnerships, work partnerships, and also, or personal relationships. And also, again, did you change where you worked or where you showed up?
In 2005, I made a really, really big decision. And it was whether to purchase my first home or whether to go back to school. So in 2005, what I did was I was working as a skills trainer in the public school system. And so I quit that job, not knowing what was coming later on in order to start my my first semester at university. So it was a time of great uncertainty, but also a time of very inspired action and a lot of excitement as well too. I ended up going back to work at restaurants because the schedules were flexible and I could work at night while going to school in the daytime.
Oh, so interesting. What a great path. Okay, let's see if we can hit some more here. I am looking at, so we went to 05. What I'm looking for is like lots of change here. I'm looking at 2008. 2008, Saturn crosses the ascendant, new cycle, it squares your midheaven, new business card, new way, and full moon. Okay, 2008 to 2009, these should have been pretty influential years in your life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So in 2008, that's when I started my first year of law school. And in 2009, that's when I decided to also pursue a concurrent degree in museum studies. And so my intention was to become a museum legal expert by pairing my JD, my Juris Doctor, with a graduate degree in museology.
That's super cool. Okay, very good. You're just so right on. And what this does, it's kind of cool for us to see this. But I think for me, it just gives me so much confirmation that if the past has worked for you, then when we get into the future, there'll be no problems.
So far, this is pretty mind-blowing because, you've identified these very specific times in my life, where these really big events have happened. And, these kind of events, they don't happen like all the time. These are like once-in-a-lifetime type of events. This is pretty wild.
It's crazy, right? To think that someone who does not know the details of your life can just look at this graph and say, oh, look, these dates look significant, and then your life matches it. So I love astrology for that purpose. It gives us confirmation that even though when we go through hard times, it's all to get us to where we need to go. So I'm looking at 2016, 2017 in case there was some sort of shift, and I do want to be clear on this. When I see themes that show up, it doesn't mean like you have to have had a change. It's just that if there's a need for you to make a change in your life, you or whoever is going through it will either feel that need to take action or the action will be taken for them. So if I mention a year and you're like, yeah, not much happened, that means you're on the right track. You didn't need to do anything. That said, I did want to ask you about 2016, 2017.
Well, okay, so 2016, 2017, let's see. I was doing quite a bit of presenting back then. I was traveling a lot, and I was just starting to feel competent, in my skills as a lawyer, and I also made a lot of career choices as well too, as far as for where I worked, who I worked for, and what kind of work I was doing, in order to kind of bring what I was currently doing more into alignment with what I wanted to do, which was arts and which is arts and cultural property. So that was a time of, I guess you could say that was a time of alignment or realignment.
Yeah. So because you said you started doing more presenting, I was looking a little more, and I want you to see this. You see this right on January 4th of 2016. It says, that circle, if thought is the sun, enters the fifth house. Now, this is important. I wouldn't have brought it up, but
what's the fifth house?
Yeah, so the fifth house is the house of entertainment, the house of showing up. It's the house of offering light to others. So we call it the stage energy. It's the Leo house. So actors and actresses oftentimes have Leo energy. So your sun moving into that house means that now it's moved out of an internal house and moved into an external. So when you said presenting, that caught my eye right away. Well, I feel extremely confident that you are who you are. You're on track with your life. Are you interested in seeing where you're at now and what's coming up?
Yeah. I'm super excited for it. Yeah. I did have a relationship, and suddenly and unexpectedly, it was my girlfriend of 2.5 years, and we ended up breaking up suddenly.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us continue to bring these transformative stories to life.
In the next segment, Alice will forecast Baron's future themes using a unique energy calendar she created. This visual tool maps out the timing of key themes over the coming months and years. Each line or block of color on the calendar represents a different planetary influence. Pink forecasts potential changes, blue highlights periods of support and opportunity, and green lines denote a variety of other themes. Let's see what Baron's future has in store for him.
What you're looking at here is what I've called, or what I've created called, an energy calendar. And it gives me a way to put all that data that we were just going through into a sort of easy to explain form. And before I get into all the details, I want to give you a little overview of what I'm seeing and just kind of see if I'm catching you in the right place. What I'm looking at is this one called Energy 2. And you see how it says it started in October of 2023. That's last year. And it's moon opposite sun. And you see there's an arrow. It's peaking right now. And it's going to go on through about September. So this is a 2-year period of time I'd like to explain to you. You are in the midst of the full moon period of your life, which, if you think about a full moon, when we're driving on the street and it's nighttime and it's a full moon, it's lit up a little bit more. We get to see more. When it's a new moon, the sky is really dark, so you can't see as much. When it's a full moon, it indicates that you are seeing your life in that full spectrum way, and things that were previously hidden or blind to you now become apparent. And it gives you this opportunity to say, this I don't want in my life anymore. This is where I want to go. So you're being illuminated right now. So I guess I just have to ask you, are you feeling this? You're not through it yet, but are you sensing that there are things in your life that you really, really need to, want to, have to change?
Not necessarily, but I've been doing a lot of reflection lately. I've been doing a lot of reflection to really assess, where I'm at right now. Is this where I want to be? Where do I go from here?
So I want you to think about when you move houses, right? You are here in this house and you have to decide, what do I take to the next house? What do I donate? What do I want? What do I not want? You are in the height of that in your life right now, where you're looking, and you use the word reflection, which is great. So you're looking to see, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And what you're going to see moving forward, and I'll go into this in more detail, but over the next 2 years, you will start to be very strict on yourself, and you will not want to do things that you do not want to do anymore. You have a very caring nature, and so sometimes you might do things because you care about the person or the cause, and give of your energy to fuel that. Over the next 2 years, you're going to kind of feel a little bit more, I guess you'll be a little bit more guarded as to what you do. So you're going to start to trim down, and I'll say you may trim down physically because you respond so much to your body. So you may trim down physically. You may not spend money on things that you are currently spending on, and change how you spend things. Anything to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's pretty crazy what you said about trimming down, what you said about moving, because right now I'm getting ready to, physically, I'm getting ready to physically move.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at here, as you go from left to right, we're moving into the future. And right here is that full moon that I double started because this is a really big deal. So this is that moving of house. I use it as a metaphor. It's sort of crazy that you're actually moving house, but you're moving house. And when we move to a new location, we have a new environment. We feel differently. We're seeing different people in the neighborhood. So that also influences how we show up in life. So what you'll end up doing, it may not seem like it in the moment, because when I talk about a 1.5, 2 year period of time where you're in this full moon, when you're in it, like right now we're becoming aware of it, we're talking about it, but oftentimes when people are in it, they don't really realize they're in it until they look back and go, wow, I've really made a shift. So what I do want you to be aware of as you're moving through we're almost the end of the year, but as you're moving into next year, is that you are winding down a major chapter in your life, meaning that there will be things that you don't resonate with anymore, that you don't touch anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised, given your all or nothing nature of being a 29-degree Scorpio, I wouldn't be surprised that some things that you let go, you never pick up ever again. So this is a very big time in your life. What's happening for you as you move into, I'm going to start to say more when you get to the spring, April, May, June, as you move into there.
Of 2025?
2025, yes. Uranus, the planet of wake up, is on your sun. And what does that mean? That means that there are latent talents within you that you may or may not know you have, that they will awaken within you because you will desire a change, you will desire a shift from, once you settle over the next 3 to 6 months into this new moon energy, you will start setting different boundaries for yourself. You'll have new rules and rituals for yourself. And then you will be more creative than you ever have. So you will break free from something.
I can't think of what it is at this moment, but it sounds pretty crazy. Sounds pretty exciting.
Well, I'm glad that you can't think of it at this moment, because actually it's quite a bit in the future and it has yet to even materialize. So what I'm looking at, you see where these two peaks are right here? This is energy 5 and 6. And the first one is Uranus opposite the sun.
The peaks, are those the two arrows?
Yeah, the two arrows. It's a little stronger. So what I'm seeing is this June, July, right around there of 2025. You will, when we follow up with you, or I follow up, say, hey, Baron, what's going on? You will have something to say about change. You will have something to say about this is unexpected, or it came to me out of the blue, and it could be an opportunity, it could be something, but you will feel very alive with this energy because it will sort of loosen you up a little bit so that you're not stuck in past patterns. So that the reason why I know it will be good for you is because these blue ones represent good flow. And you see this one right in June, July. I called it energy 12.
Yes.
Jupiter is returning to where he was when you were born. It's called the Jupiter return. I talk about Jupiter as being Santa Claus. This goes on for about quite a while. So I am looking forward to seeing you break free, have new opportunities. So I expect that if I'm talking to you, let's say the summer of 2025, you'll have moved, things will have set into place. You would have told me that you no longer do X, but now you do Y, and you've discovered, I think that might be, you discovered that this is sort of a new path or a new trail.
Honestly, I can't think of what I can't think of what kind of changes might be happening, but it sounds really exciting.
What I've seen sometimes is people break away from something they've been doing to create something new. So it could be another level to your business or how you serve your clients, or perhaps a new client, or having to learn a new aspect of something that's not as familiar to you, which I know you probably know a lot, but in that sense. The other thing is, one more thing to bring up is, right around December, January, February, you see this one I marked energy 10.
Yes.
This is Saturn, and he's in a square to Mercury. And what this means is you may feel it now, but not have the time or energy. But anyway, this is where you get organized. This is where you say, okay, I do not want chaos. I need to get organized. I need to create a system, or I need to clean things out. So I'll just say beginning of the year is excellent for you to get your life in order. But the most important thing, I think, for me to share with you about the next year or two is that on one hand, you will be trimming down. So physically or in what you do. And the other layer is you'll be discovering something new, and you will be okay with it. It's a very unique energy that you're going through. So again, I would imagine in your business perhaps, or even in your personal life, the idea of something different. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we caught up with you and your hair was a different length or a different something, or you might not have a beard. So we'll see. Let's just see how that turns out.
You know, this is really inspiring, and it's certainly super exciting too. I'm looking forward to catching up with you as well too, to see where I'm at and all of these changes, you know, that I can't even imagine right now, but we'll find out.
Great. Thank you so much, Baron, for taking the time today.
Thank you.
More than half a year has passed since Alice gave Baron his reading and predicted some events for him. Let's catch up with Baron and see if anything that Alice had forecasted for him has come to pass.
There's been a major shift in how I look at my priorities in my life. When I reflect back on what Alice mentioned about trimming down, not just physically, but in other areas of my life. For example, possessions that I no longer use, you know, I've been getting rid of a lot of things. Certain relationships have also kind of given way to other new relationships in my life as well too. I did have a relationship, and suddenly and unexpectedly, it was my girlfriend of 2.5 years, and we ended up breaking up suddenly. But I think the most important thing that I've come to realize is that my time is very, very precious. Every time I say yes to someone, it's a debt that needs to be paid. And that debt needs to be paid either in time, resources, energy, money. And so these days I'm more discerning about who I say yes to and what projects I take on. I've had a lot of external influences that have caused me to restructure. The first one is the move. And moving is always a disruptive activity. In moving, you have to decide what's going to go with you on your next stage of your journey and what gets left behind. And I moved into a much larger apartment. It's very nice, it's spacious, and most importantly is it's given me the room to have a proper home office where I can visit with my clients and consult with them. Alice had predicted that I would trim down physically, and I wasn't even thinking about that. It just organically happened. I started getting back into running and I started exercising again. And, it's really brought me not only better health, but also it's helped me to become more grounded as well too as I move throughout my day. This period of my life has brought to me a lot of clarity. What Alice said about this being a full moon really illuminating things, especially in maybe like the past 5 months. I've had a lot of perspective and a lot of clarity about what I want for my future. I feel a lot less chaotic and I feel a lot more in control. I think that was one of the unexpected results of having a reading with Alice, because I think what Alice's reading did was give me a sense of certainty that everything is going to turn out okay in the end. Even though we can't see what's going to happen or how it's going to play out, what Alice's predictions gave me was this incredible sense of certainty, and that's led me to have a greater sense of self-confidence. I have a very special event planned within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a very special celebratory dinner, and we'll be celebrating the 2nd anniversary of Invenio Legal Studio, and I'm also celebrating the publication of my 2nd article on copyright and artificial intelligence. And there's also going to be another aspect to this dinner that I'm really, really particularly looking forward to, and that's thanking and honoring certain people who have contributed to me in ways large and small. If I had to sum up my journey in one sentence, I think I would sum it up as, it's been an unexpected ride and a fantastic upgrade.
Thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed following our guest's journey and found inspiration in their story. I'm Alice Inoue, and I look forward to guiding you again soon. Until then, stay open to the messages the stars have for you. Aloha!